my name is Brian McConnell, and today I'm going to be talking about John F. Kennedy's speech titled The Decision to Go to the Moon. Kennedy's speech was primarily to inform America on the current decision to send a man to space, but the secondary motivation was also to motivate America and inspire them in a time of need during the middle of the Cold War. At this point in time, the Soviet Union had already launched Sputnik 4 years prior to Kennedy's speech. The Soviet Union also had already sent many unmanned satellites and had pretty much been dominating the space race. Kennedy felt pressured to catch up to the Soviet Union, and he decided that he really needed a new space program that we could really beat the Soviet Union with. Him and his team had decided that the program that this was going to be the best shot at was sending the first man to the moon. Kennedy had said in his speech, and it was one of the most famous lines of his speech, that we are doing this not because it is easy, but because it is hard. This line will hold true for another 50 years, and I will get to that later in our speech. His speech was one that truly motivated America in one of its darkest times, and is what American people really needed. With this speech, we must understand, first, John F. Kennedy's background, second, the context of the speech and the time that it was given in, and third, how its effect on society and the betterment that it had on the American people. But first, let's talk about Kennedy's background. John F. Kennedy was born May 29th, 1917 in Brooklyn, Massachusetts. Note that is not Brooklyn, New York. He lived there for 10 years, and once he was 10 years old, him and his family moved to the Bronx in New York. He lived there for the rest of his life until he attended Choate Boarding School, which he went to 9th from 12th grade. And there he followed in his older brother's shadow, who was a star football player. So Kennedy became a rebellious teen and even blew up a toilet with a firecracker, gaining him some notoriety on campus. He ended up becoming the business manager of the school's newspaper, though, and was voted by his peers most likely to succeed, which we will know holds true. And after he was at Choate Boarding School, he attended Harvard University, where he got his degree in government with his emphasis on international affairs. When he was writing his senior thesis, he needed some inspiration, and he toured Europe, where he visited Soviet Union, the Balkans, the Middle East, and lastly Germany. While he was in Germany, he actually left Germany on September 1st, and the exact day that Germany invaded Poland, starting World War II. And then after Harvard, Kennedy enlisted in the Naval Reserve in 1941, where he ended up doing a tour in Panama and a couple tours in the Pacific. He commanded a torpedo boat, and in which his torpedo boat was actually rammed by a Japanese destroyer, injuring him and killing 2 of his crewmates. They were stranded on an island, which he was then rescued and received multiple medals, including the Purple Heart. But Kennedy then, once he became president, Kennedy became president in the middle of the Cold War, when many Americans were losing faith in the American spirit almost. And then on May 25th, 1961, he set his new goal to send a man to the moon. Kennedy wanted to put the first man on the moon because that was all that we really had left to beat Russia in the space battle. 4 years earlier, the Sputnik had been launched, so Kennedy's speech was really coming in at a time when the Cold War was looking like it wasn't going to go our way. But he believed the moon landing was what we could beat Russia in. On July 20th, 1969, his goal was achieved, and Neil Armstrong was the first man to set foot on the moon. And according to Mike Wall, the senior writer at Space.com, Kennedy's speech that was given 50 years ago still has its power to inspire us today. His speech came at a very crucial time in American history and is what America really needed to inspire them. His speech was a lot about the human history of discovery, though, and a lot less about space. He talked about America's need to inspire each other, and that we needed to stand behind NASA, exploration itself, and America. He asked America, why do we go to the moon? Why do we choose this goal? Well, why would we choose to climb the highest mountain? Why would we choose to cross the Atlantic 35 years ago? We choose these things not because they are easy, but because they are hard. which has been one of the most famous lines in all of Kennedy's speeches, and it still holds true today. And NASA also refers to us, or they tell us that Kennedy's speech was one of the most influential speeches ever that was given about space. It was also the first space speech in American history. And in conclusion, I would like to ask y'all, or I want y'all to think really, what do you think in 50 years from now when people have explored Mars and live on Mars, what do you think they will think about the first time that we went to the moon? Thank you.